Hey everybody, Regina here. It is time for Coffee with Regina, and today I have my friend Barb Fisher with me. And Barb, it says Ambassador for Ladies of Justice. She works with LegalShield and ID theft, and she's an ambassador, and we're going to talk all about this. But first off, welcome, Barb.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, so happy to have you here. And let me tell you a little bit about Barb before we get into our chat. And I don't know, Barb, I kind of looked at your bio and I added some stuff to it based on some information I found. So I'm going to read what I wrote and then you can correct anything that's maybe not right. I think it's pretty good though. So Barbara Fisher is an ambassador with the Ladies of Justice powered by LegalShield and IDShield. And we're going to tell you all about those in just a sec. She serves clients in Canada and US. She's a former school teacher, and she brings her education and hard-earned wisdom to her mission of helping business owners and families protect themselves legally and financially. So let's chat about that. Like, how did you get into doing what you do right now?
Yes. Yeah. Thanks. It's not a story I'm proud of, but I'd invested a large amount of money. In fact, it was my parents' inheritance, hoping to, grow the money and pass it on to my 4 children. Got a special delivery letter one day saying, don't cash the checks this month, and oh, your money is gone. And it was devastating for me. It was a big amount of money. I was just lying. It made me sick. I was tossing and turning at night. I couldn't figure out what to do. Friends who I did confide in said, well, you need to talk to a lawyer, Barb. And I'm thinking, well, what lawyer? And are you paying for it? Because I have no money left. And so then I was out networking and I met somebody and she introduced LegalShield to me and explained what it was and how I could talk to a lawyer and not worry about how much it was going to cost me. It was like $30 a month. Like, of course I'm going to do that. And I knew I was going to tell people about it too, because when you hear about a good thing, we women share it, right? A great movie, Absolutely. A great restaurant. And if I'm going to get paid to do that, I'm in. So that's how my journey started, and it started very, very part-time because I was a teacher, very busy, and had 4 children as a single mom, and so I didn't have a lot of extra time, but the time I did have, I just changed conversations and talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, you say it's a story you're not proud of, but it's actually a pretty common story, unfortunately. People are always getting their identity stolen, and it's a problem, right?
Yes, yeah. That was not identity theft. That was fraud, possibly fraud. I'm not even sure if he just made bad investments or if he was actually taking the money offshore and planning to leave the country. But either way, there were about 50 of us involved in that, and they were all wanting to, start a class action suit, but that requires money. You have to pay the lawyers, and I didn't have any more money to give to that cause. And when I talked to the lawyers through LegalShield, I found out that there was nothing they could do to help me because there was this class action thing going on. But at least I was able to sleep at night because I knew I'd done my due diligence in talking to lawyers and finding out what I could and couldn't do. So, yeah, it was a great loss. But yes, identity theft and fraud are huge right now. And yeah, I just am constantly trying to post about things to, beware of and that kind of thing.
Now, once you started working with them, obviously you became a big fan of LegalShield and identity theft, and so you started being an ambassador. So tell us about the ambassador for Ladies of Justice.
Yes, certainly. The Ladies of Justice movement started a few years ago. before COVID, when the women were realizing that women are more social than men typically. And like, we have jewelry parties, we have makeup parties. Why not have wine and wills? Or why not have pizza in the park? And while the kids are playing, the moms can talk about, what our services can do for them and how they can help families. And so then the Ladies of Justice movement started. We ourselves, me and my partner, started looking around for places we could hold events for moms and kids and that sort of thing. And then COVID came along. And for us here in Canada, that lasted close to 3 years, but we were, opening, shutting. So we've kind of switched again, and but we are trying to make it more social and make the events fun, rather than these organized meetings that we had before.
It's so funny. The first time you said to me when we talked prior, and you said wine and wills, and I was like, that is brilliant. I mean, because people don't, talking about creating a will and stuff like that is not like what people want to talk about. And especially for business owners, if you have a business, you better have a will and something that says, here's what to do with all of this stuff in my business, if something happens to me. And, it's one of those things that I don't know if it's like we're brought up with it, that it's kind of taboo because we don't want to think about dying. But at the same time, it's not really about you dying. It's about protecting what's your assets for those who are still here after you're gone. And so it's actually a really good thing to think about a will. Yeah. And so when you have the wine and will parties like that, like what do you do?
We like. Well, actually, I never got to do. Well, I've done the Zoom ones. Let's put it that way, because, like I said, COVID hit, and it just makes it more interactive. There's a chance to write in the chat. We used to have Ladies of Justice Zooms to explain what our services are during COVID, and I loved them because they were really interactive compared to the other Zooms that we had. Like, write in the chat what your favorite food is, write in the chat where you want to go when this is all over, right? And just participating and seeing women from all across North America was pretty amazing too. And we're all gathered on a Zoom together and able to get to know each other that way. The wine and wills, I have not personally done it myself yet, although that sounds amazing too. But I certainly have been a participant in some Zooms on will workshops and that kind of thing, which are still available.
Okay, so
in fact, one of the will workshops, or a few of them, have been with. Oh, sorry. I guess we're lapsing or something. A few of the will workshops are actually led by. Okay. So a few of the will workshops were actually led by the lawyers themselves, which is really amazing to hear from their point of view.
So yeah, it sounds like we have a little delay going on here. When it comes to, like, let's switch over to the business aspect of it. And if you have a business, I mean, legal is one of those things that we don't really think about as much when you have a business. You start a business and you just start doing what you do. You start doing your, you make up your course, whatever it is that your transformation is that you give for people. And then you just start creating content and trying to find clients and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of on the back burner. You don't even think about the legal side of the business. So when you think about it, I'll just say to you, I know already, but I'll say to you, how important is legal for a business?
Oh, yeah, because I don't know about even in Canada, but especially in the USA, there's a lot of things you can do that people you know, you want to protect yourself. There's also like, I love that you can be proactive. My favorite plan is the one where we have the family plan plus the home business add-on. So you can add on protection to your family. So you can ask the lawyers questions about either personal or business for solopreneurs. And so I sort of lost track of what I was going to say. What was your question? Oh, you're planning something great for your business. So you're thinking, oh, I've got this great idea. And the lawyers, you run it past the lawyers and they say, yeah, that's a great idea. Or they may say, did you think about this possible consequence? But you're so focused on your great idea that you didn't think about anything else, right? So it's great to have another opinion, and a legal opinion of the, you know, how that may or may not turn out.
So what kind of things can the LegalShield attorneys help with when it comes to business?
Excellent question. Yes, so they'll read over documents before you sign them, or if you have a document with your client, they'll read that over from another professional.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not work in your state or province, or it may just need a tweak here or there. And depending on the size of your business, because we have 4 different business plans. Like for businesses that have employees and that, they'll help with all sorts of things, including employee handbooks or anything. Maybe somebody isn't paying you. They'll write a letter or make a phone call on your behalf. And people are more likely to respond to a lawyer's letter than they are to, you know, your letter on your Garfield note paper.
Right. And I know I had signed up many years ago for LegalShield and ID theft. And today, if somebody wanted to join, what do they have to do? What do they have to do to join LegalShield to start getting this kind of protection?
Sorry, I missed part of that because it's some delay there.
Yeah, we're chopping up a little bit here. Is it what does somebody do? What does somebody do today in order to sign up for LegalShield to get that protection, so they have it for their life and their business?
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, you would find somebody either locally or me, I will take you, who can help you explain in more detail what we offer, because we do have 3 different family plans and 4 different small business plans. So, you know, we'll help you get signed up. Essentially, you get a law firm within your state or province. So it's not just a random thing. You're assigned, like you have certain law firms within your state that know about LegalShield. So it's sort of an extra layer of accountability that's built in there, that like if you're not happy with the lawyer, you can talk to LegalShield and they will talk to the lawyer, or they will find you a new lawyer. So it's another layer of accountability, because when I had a lawyer before and I didn't like what they were doing, there was nowhere I could go, really. So yeah, I love that, and I love that it's affordable.
Excuse me. So yeah, that's awesome. And you said there's different plans. So the different plans have to do with the size of your business then? Is that what I heard?
It used to be the size of the business. Now it's according to the needs of the person. So, you know, there's different, like how many debt collection letters a month do you think you'll need? How many things do you think you'll need help with? Like we have different categories and different, different needs for different business owners. Because
okay,
all businesses are not equal as far.
right. I think we're having connection issues. I think your end is choppy over
So
there.
too.
But that's okay.
I think so too. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. We're getting the key points in. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how would they go about doing that?
Well, I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I have email and text. If your phone plan includes Canada, you can text me. Yeah, so I'm out there. I love to help people. So if anybody needs help out there or needs even if you just have questions that I mean, I'm not a pushy salesperson, so it's just I just want to help people. And if you have a need, then let's talk.
So what is your best email address? Did you hear? What is your best email address?
No, I did not. I'm sorry. Everything.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So LS for LegalShield.
Okay. That just
Sorry.
totally,
Yes,
yeah, that totally broke up. Can you do me a favor and put it into the chat in StreamYard here? There's a little chat box. If you type it in there, I'll copy it and I'll put it out underneath the comments. Because the legal part of a business is something that everybody should think about. And there's so many things. And you actually mentioned something. You mentioned debt collection. When I had my computer repair company, we did have to hire a debt collection company at a certain point to make sure that we got paid. We had homes and small businesses. The homes always paid us because they paid us right then and there. But sometimes we had businesses on monthly retainers, and sometimes, yeah, we had to call collection companies to get paid, and they're costly. So knowing that you have this is actually pretty cool. And I know that, LegalShield itself is one of those companies that can certainly help out, and they're literally just a phone call away. So it's not like you have to wait hours and hours, and it's not like you have to go, oh my God, what am I going to get charged for this 5-minute call with the lawyer? It's included. So that's one of the really cool things about LegalShield, that if you're a small business, especially, it's super affordable legal counsel.
And the debt collection letters, yes, because debt collection companies charge a percentage of the debt, right? Mm-hmm. And whereas with this, it's included in your membership. So it can save you a lot of money. Yeah.
Yes. So
and then larger businesses with employees, they have. I was going to say larger businesses who have employees, maybe they have an employee that they want to fire. Run that by the lawyers before you do that. So, because there are some people who think that they can just fire willy-nilly, but you can't. You have, and sometimes it's amazing what employees can get away with and not get fired, not be able to get fired. So yeah, you want to protect yourself.
Yeah, and that is so true. I did have an instance with one of my employees when I had my computer company, and he was great on paper, and he came in and he did fabulous work for 2 weeks. And then he basically just stopped working and came into the office every day and just sat at his computer and played on his computer. And so, of course, I gave him a warning, and I went through the whole process of, let me talk to him, let me give him a warning, this, that, and the other thing. Finally, I had to fire him. And then he went after me for payments for unemployment. And I was like, I get unemployment payments if you get unemployed, if you get laid off or something. If you get fired because you're incompetent and you don't do your job, I don't think you should be collecting for that. You did that to yourself. If somebody, laid you off, that's a different story. But I ended up going back and forth with lawyers and stuff. I asked my attorney, and I said, and he literally said that. He said, you know what? It's not even worth. He goes, just do the unemployment. Just go for it and do it, because it's not worth the trouble because of all of the employee rights. And I'm all down with employee rights. I was an employee at one time too, so I'm down with employee rights. But some stuff is a little ridiculous. So it's good, especially as a business owner, because you don't know. And you're like, okay, how do I do this? How do I go about this in the right way? So that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing.
Go ahead.
I know, it's that delay. So the other thing I was going to say, especially for small businesses. So if you are a coach or a consultant and you have a business online, and this is one thing, since I know Barb's stuff is delaying over there, because I know some about this stuff too, and she'll correct me if I'm wrong anyways. So one of the things is that if you have your website, say you have your website, and down at the bottom of your website, you have that you have that link that says privacy policy, or your terms and conditions. You want to have an attorney look through that and make sure that they're right. And if you have something like LegalShield, it's just a phone call away. It's included in the monthly, and the monthly is not that expensive. So it's really super affordable legal counsel for everything you have going on in your business.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, absolutely. I can't imagine being without it. Like I wouldn't sleep at night. I mean, because even, just ordinary things that happen, you never know when life's going to throw you a curveball.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Because we have this delay, it's kind of hard to go back and forth, but we will make sure that everybody has Barb's information and some info about what LegalShield is all about, so that you can actually go and check it out. And, I'm going to speak for you, Barb, because you did kind of say that, is that she's happy to have a conversation with you. So if you're like, well, I don't know, tell me more about LegalShield, Barb's more than happy to have a conversation with you and just give you the details about what it's all about. So her email is right here on the screen, and just check it out. And we'll also make sure that we hook you up with her LinkedIn and Facebook pages so that you can check it out. And, Barb said she posts out, posts with tips and stuff all the time. So even if you just, troll her page for some cool tips and information, you can do that too.
Yes, thank you for all that. I just wish that this were working better.
That's okay. That's okay. This was a lot of great information, especially on that legal side. And I wanted to make sure that everybody understands, when I talk to my clients as a business strategist, legal is part of the conversation. because we talk about that stuff like your privacy policy, your client contracts. You know, if you have a client contract that you work with your clients, you have them sign something, or maybe it's a non-disclosure or something like that. You want to have those. You don't want to just copy willy-nilly or have AI create one for you. You know, AI will create that stuff too. That doesn't make it legal. So you want to actually have an attorney check it out. And so LegalShield is a really super affordable way, instead of paying a attorney, you know, $300 to $500 an hour to go through your paperwork. It is so much more affordable to do it this way. And then you can sleep safe and sound knowing that everything is all set.
Yeah.
All caught up?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was waiting for our sound to catch up. All right. So, thank you, Barb, for joining us here today. And we'll make sure everybody has your links so they can connect with you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
you. we will. We're all delayed here.
Everything just went black, so I don't know what you said.
We'll see you.
But I agree.
All right. So we will see you all next time on Coffee with Regina. We'll make sure you have all of Barb's info so that you can connect up with her. We'll see you next time on Coffee with Regina. Bye.